الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله مولانا العلي العظيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله على النبي الأمي وآله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلاة وسلاما عليك يا رسول الله اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت يا حي يا قيوم تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا اللهم يا كريم أكرمنا بنور الفهم وأخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Inshallah Azza wa Jal, we will continue today with the 188th covenant from the Muhammadan covenants of Imam Abdul Wahhab Sha'rani rahimahullah. If you remember last week, Imam Sha'rani rahimahullah mentioned and exhorted the Muslims to meet their fellow brethren and to meet the righteous servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to go and visit the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before it's too late. I remember ourselves being told and informed by mashayikh and the ulama to visit so and so shaykh who is a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, at times we did receive the opportunity to visit them, but many a people, they just had to face with regret and remorse because that wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left this mundane world. So we should seize the opportunity and go to visit the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But having said that, before we go and visit the ulama and the awliya and the salihin, even visiting our brothers, we should refine our intentions. Our intention should be to please Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we go to meet our friends and our family members, and especially when we go to meet the righteous ulama and the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our hearts should be clean. Imam Abdul Wahhab Sha'rani rahimahullah mentions later on, we should read it today inshallah azza wa jalla, of how people misconstrue the words of the ulama, and then they start a propaganda against the ulama, Rabbaniyin, and they then start to criticize the ulama and object to the ulama, misconstruing their words, misinterpreting their words, adding things to it which the ulama did not say, and without any clarification from the alim or from the salih servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's on WhatsApp, it's on social media, it's a character assassination that takes place. So he says after that, after explaining the importance of visiting our brothers and the righteous servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to honor every visitor that comes to us, he then says, وَيَحْتَاجُ مَنْ يُرِيدُ الْعَمَلَ بِهَذَا الْعَهْدِ إِلَى السُّلُوكِ عَلَى يَدِ شَيْخٍ نَاصِحٍ يَسْلُكُ بِهِ حَتَّى يُدْخِلَهُ حَضَرَاتِ الْوِلَايَةِ ويمر به إلى حضرات الأخلاق الحسنة ويكسوه منها ما قسم له فتصير سجيته تعصي النفس والشيطان في كل ما يطلبانه من العبد ويطيع الملك بالبديهة ويطيعه في جميع لماته. He then says, the one who truly wants to follow this covenant of visiting brothers, we obviously go and visit our families. We go, this is a daily routine for many of us. They have nothing better to do, mashallah, but just to park outside people's homes and, alhamdulillah, impose a da'wat on them. And there's not all of you, mashallah. So the one who truly wants to follow this covenant, he needs to tread the path of suluk at the hands of a sincere shaykh, and the shaykh who would take him to the stations of wilaya, the stations of closeness to Allah's mercy, of friendship. وَيَمُرَّ بِهِ إِلَى حَضَرَاتِ الْأَخْلَاقِ الْحَسَنَةِ, and the shaykh takes him by the hand and traverses him to the stations of good moral character. And so that the Shaykh dons him, clothes him in good moral character. The akhlaq of the Prophet ﷺ, those that have been decreed for him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَتَصِيرَ سَجِيَّتُهُ تَعْصِ النَّفْسَ وَالشَّيْطَانِ فِي كُلِّ مَا يَطْلُبَانِهِ مِنَ الْعَبْدِ, to such an extent that his nature and his natural disposition begins to oppose shaitan and the ego in what they desire from the servant. What does Imam Al-Busiri rahimahullah say? وَخَالِفِ النَّفْسَ وَالشَّيْطَانَ وَعَصِيهِمَا وَإِنْهُمَا مَحَّضَاكَ النُّصْحَ فَاتَّهِمِ. Oppose the nafs, oppose the ego, go against the ego and the shaitan. Even if they appear to give you a good counsel, oppose them. It is like sweet poison that they give you. So he says here, if a person wants to truly follow on this covenant, he needs to tread the path of suluk and tariqah and go through mujahadat and riyadatul nafs, struggle with the ego until he dons himself with al-akhlaq al-hasana, good moral character, until his natural disposition, his fitrah becomes such that he opposes whatever the nafs incites him to do, whatever the shaitan inspires and whispers him to do. He goes against the insinuations of shaitan and his nafs and his ego. وَيُطِيعُ الْمَلِكَ بِالْبَدِيهَةِ, and he follows and obeys the sovereign one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, spontaneously, even without thinking, subconsciously. He follows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every single breath, in every single moment of his life. He follows Allah and in the injunctions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obeying him in every single moment of his life, in every single step that he takes. If this is the case, at this point in time when a person goes through these trials and tribulations, goes through struggling with the ego, under the guide of a murshid, a shaykh isal and ittisal, يَخُوضُ فِي الرَّحْمَةِ إِنْ زَارَ أَحَدًا ذَاهِبًا وَرَاجِعًا. At that moment in time, when he goes to meet his friend, then he goes whilst he's submerged in the mercy of Allah, and he returns whilst he's submerged and immersed in the mercy of Allah. To and fro visiting your friend, you will be in the mercy of Allah subhanahu. Why? Because you have refined your intention. Even before you take your first step from your home, you have purified and refined your intention. You go to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are visiting your brother and your family member in order to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your eye is not on the food that He will prepare for you. Your eye is not on what you will see in the home. Your eye and your intention is not that you go to visit the alim or the scholar to sit with them to find mistakes so that you can then spread these mistakes and then start a negative propaganda against this alim. It is to please Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He mentions this. فَإِنَّ غَالِبَ زِيَارَتِهِ. He speaks about this. Imam Sha'rani rahimahullah talks about his age, which is approximately, we are in 1440, yeah? Approximately 500 years before. He says, إِنَّ غَالِبَ زِيَارَاتِ النَّاسِ الْيَوْمَ لِبَعْضِهِمْ بَعْضًا لَا إِخْلَاصَ فِيهَا وَإِنَّمَا هِيَ أَهْوِيَةُ نُفُوسٍ. Most of the visits that people have for one another, most of the people who visit one another, they do so out of pretentious, out of nifaq, not out of sincerity. There is no ikhlas in people visiting one another today. He talks about 500 years before. इस ज़माने में जो लोग एक दूसरे से मुलाकात करते हैं या उलमा की खिदमत में जाते हैं या अपने भाइयों के पास जाते हैं, अक्सर ज़ियारतों में इखलास नहीं है. وَإِنَّمَا هِيَ أَهْوِيَةُ نُفُوسٍ. It is merely feeding the ego. It is merely out of feeding the carnal. It is merely out of pursuing the carnal desires. He will give me some money, he will give me some food, I will find mistakes from that alim, I will sit in his majlis and I will eavesdrop, I will look at how he speaks, I will find the mistakes that he has, and then I will then misconstrue his words, interpolate his words, add things to it, and then start a negative propaganda. As it happens today, it's very, very easy because people have WhatsApp today. They even have these watches that can record things. Even without your permission, they will start recording your conversations in the private quarters of your home. Private meetings that we have. You had a meeting today, probably meeting, meeting with food, mashallah azza wa jal, and you confide secrets with people, exhorting them not to disclose these secrets to people, and the following day it's all over social media. You receive phone calls. Maulana, you said this, Maulana, you said that. Not just talking about me, talking about generally what's happening today. You can't trust anyone today. This is what Imam Sha'rani says. Today's visits that we have to one another, there is no ikhlas in it. And he says, فَتَرَى الْفَقِيرَ أَوْ الْعَالِمِ يَزُورُ أَخَاهُ وَهُوَ مُتَلَفِّتٌ إِلَى ذِكْرِ مَا اطَّلَعَ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ نَقَائِصِ أَخِي. You will see a faqir, a so-called someone who treads the path of suluk, faqir here in this context. Or you will see a scholar visiting another scholar, or you will see an aami visiting an alim, مُتَلَفِّتٌ إِلَى ذِكْرِ مَا اطَّلَعَ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ نَقَائِصِ أَخِي. And he is interested in mentioning what he sees, what the mistakes he saw when visiting the alim. The alim, he didn't drink water in 3 drafts. He just went gulp, gulp, gulp with the water. He doesn't even know how to drink in the sunnah manner. He did this and he did that, and he had this phone call and he was backbiting this person. And this person who is backbiting the alim is forgetting the fact that he himself is backbiting the scholar and the alim and the shaykh. Okay, people are now visiting other people in order to engage themselves and to be interested in mentioning or trying to find out any faults in their brothers and in their sisters. This happens with women as well, especially obviously in relation to how other sisters cook their food. It was too salty, it was too bitter, it was overcooked, it was undercooked. If only they did this and did that. They have a whole conversation, a post-eating meeting, where they, mashallah, delve into the defects of so and so. Not even congratulating or showing gratitude to them. Thank you for feeding me. Thank you for allowing me to stay at your abode for 1 hour. 5 hours for them. And then feeding me. And then obviously another 5 hours post the da'wat, just talking about rubbish, naqa'is and defects and uyub and fault finding, etc., etc., etc. Astaghfirullah. وَتَسْتَحْلِي نَفْسُهُ لِذَلِكَ حَتَّى يَذْكُرَهُ لِلنَّاسِ. His ego finds his ego finds it pleasant to mention these things, to find the fault in people. And the person wants to seize the opportunity, the moment that he can tell people. The nafs wants, it can't keep it in. The nafs wants to tell people. I want to assassinate someone's character. I want to tell people about so and so. وربما كان المذكور لهم ذلك أعداء لذلك الفقير المزور. And many times what happens is the one before whom these uyub and these defects and these mistakes are relayed to, that person himself is an enemy of that faqir or that alim. So that you add fuel to the fire. It happens in the masajid as well. People sit down and they start gossiping about this, that and the other. It happens. Okay, these are the times that we're living in. فلا هو نصحه في ذلك النقص الذي رآه فيه بينه وبينه ولا هو ستره بين الناس. So this person, neither did he out of good counsel, out of ad-din nasiha, out of good counsel, neither did this person approach the alim in secrecy, in a discreet manner, or the shaykh or the alim or the brother, and tell him, brother, you made this mistake, please rectify it. According to the sunnah, the sharia of the Prophet ﷺ, this is not allowed. Rectify this mistake. So neither did he do that, because the sincerity in this, and this man didn't even come out of sincerity. He came with the intention to disclose the mistakes of the alim, and nor did he conceal the defects of the alim before the people. So neither did he counsel the person in the best manner, nor did he conceal the defects of the alim, of the shaykh or the person whom he visited. He exposed the defects of the alim or the shaykh or the brother whom he visited. وكثيرا ما يخرج أحدهم من عند ذلك الفقير أو العالم يقول زرت فلانا البارحة مثلا فوجدت عنده دعوة عظيمة للصلاح والعلم ولو علمت أنه في تلك الحالة ما زرته ويظهر الندم على زيارتي احتقار له بين الناس. Many a times what happens is people come after visiting an alim or a sheikh of the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah and they make these random comments and they say, you know, I went yesterday night, I went to visit such and such an alim, such and such a sheikh, such and such a Maulana, and I found him making such a big claim that he has piety and he has such knowledge, but I found him doing this and I found him doing that. He made this mistake and he made that mistake. Had I known about his state before, I would not even taken a step out of my home to visit him. I regret on visiting. They say this in front of other people. وَيُظْهِرُ النَّدَمَ عَلَى زِيَارَتِهِ, and they express regret and shame on visiting Al-Alim Al-Fulani wa Shaykh Al-Fulani in order to disdain the alim before the people, in order to put the alim on a lower stage before the people, in order to disdain and to criticize the alim before the people. They make these random comments. If only I did not visit that alim. I was not in need of visiting the alim. I thought he was mashallah, subhanallah, he could fly in the air and he could walk on water, but alhamdulillah rabbil, I could find him walking on concrete. I could not see him fly. Yani pointing out stupid, trivial mistakes. I'm just giving an example here, obviously. Okay? So then he says, فَمِثْلُ هَذَا الزَّائِرِ يَخُوضُ أو خاض في نار جهنم ذاهبا وراجعا. Such visitors, they immerse in the fire of hell was going to and coming back, that person whom they intended to visit. Before he mentioned about those people who immerse in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who visit their friends and the ulama and the mashayikh with a sincere intention. But these people who go out with the intention to, even in majalis al-dhikr or majalis al-ilm, you will see them sitting in the majlis and they want to find a fault in your speech or in your sermon so that they can then assassinate your character without any clarification, without asking for any interpretation. They misconstrue our words. It happens with many ulama. Allahu Akbar. So these people, they are submerged in the fire of Jahannam, in the fire of hell, whilst going to and whilst coming back, returning back from the person whom they visited. مع أن هذا القائل, and having said that, this very person who is on a character assassination mission, who is on a mission to backbite ulama and mashayikh, he himself, he says, Imam Sha'rani mentions this, ربما زار الظلمة والمكاسين وأكلت الحرام وأكل طعامهم في رمضان وخرج بنشر فضائلهم ولا تكاد تسمع منه لفظة واحدة في حقهم تنقصهم وربما أجاب عنهم وزجر من ينقصهم أو ينقصهم ورد عليه فكان العلماء والصالحون أحق بذلك. You will see these idiots, people who are submerged in the fire of hell, going to visit ulama and the mashayikh to find faults in them. You will see these very people who sit with those people whose livelihood is haram, who eat haram, who drink haram, whose means of attaining a livelihood is haram. They will sit with them to eat food because they know these are rich, affluent people who have money from left, right and center, and they will have a huge dastarkhan, huge food mat with an array of food, and this guy is the only be all and end all of his life is food. He lives to eat basically. So he sits with these guys and with these oppressors and tyrannical people, and he also mentions Makkasim, those people who levy an unlawful tax on people. Okay, and those people who akalatil haram, those people who eat haram, their income is haram. They usurp the people's wealth through and use fraudulent means to usurp wealth. You will see them going to their home for da'wats, and you see them sitting at their food mats in the month of Ramadan, and when they come out they will start to mention their fada'il, their excellences and their virtues, and subhanallah, fula, and even though he doesn't even pray one namaz, fula is very generous, he is very, very benevolent, he cares for the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, he is very loving, he is very caring, he is very affectionate. You will not hear one word demeaning the character of that man. You will not hear one word of criticism, of objection. Because pet bhad gaya na. You know, if you want to shut people's mouth today, feed them or give them money. That's two things. Just give them pizzas every single day, they will start praising you. Alhamdulillah. Even though we are submerged in defects and faults, if you want to ask someone, make someone praise you, just feed them every single day. People just want a pizza. 7-inch or not 7-inch, sorry. What is it? 12-inch margarita will do. Subhanallah, for many. And at many times they will reply on behalf of them, and they will scold and rebuke anyone who tries to find a fault in these dhalimeen and in these akalatil haram, in these people who eat unlawful food and whose livelihood is based on an unlawful income. وَرَدَّ عَلَيْهِ, and they will refute those people who try to refute them. فَكَانَ الْعُلَمَاءُ وَالصَّالِحُونَ أَحَقَّ بِذَلِكَ. Ulama and the righteous people should be more worthy of this person defending them. But this very person who scorns at and disdains the character of the ulama will be the very person who praises fraudsters, imposters, artificial people who eat haram, who drink haram. The only reason why he praises them is that he gives them money, he gives them an invitation to his house. That's it. Okay, and this is what Imam Sha'rani mentioned this about his time, 500 years before. What about our age? We see this manifest. You will see the very people sat in the masjid, yes, criticizing the ulama, objecting to the ulama, backbiting the ulama, slandering the ulama and the righteous servants of the Ahlus Sunnah wa Jama'ah for propagating the truth, for upholding the truth. And these very people will not say a single word against those people whose income is haram, based on fraudulent means. Because there's nifaq in people's hearts. And you have to be very careful nowadays. Okay, to whom you meet, because you don't know, the people are like, they're like sharks. They've become like beasts of prey, predatory beasts. They will misconstrue your words. Okay, you confide a secret with them, and you take an amana from them. It is based on a trust. Al-majalisu bil amana. But then the following day you will see them, the very people whom you fed an 8-inch margarita pizza, the very people whom you gave water to drink, and you quenched their thirst, and you, mashallah, you welcome them to your home, you will see these very people assassinating your character. So be very careful as to whom you meet and whom you allow to meet you. This is why Imam Abdul Ghani al-Nablusi rahimahullah wrote an entire epistle on the importance of seclusion, khalwa. This is the time of seclusion, khalwa. There is so much fitan nowadays. You can't even go to meet another person with this guarantee that this person, inshallah, will not confide your secret, will not disclose your secrets, inshallah, to anyone, will not divulge in your personal and private life. You can't trust people today. So this is what, as the Prophet ﷺ said, fitan will arise to such an extent that if a person wanted to safeguard his iman, he will need to go on a seclude himself from people. Allah Ta'ala hamiski tawfiq ata farma. Inshallah, we will continue with this, inshallah, next week. Allah Rabbil Izzat.